Whatever kind of 2022 you were planning back in January, we think it's safe to say that it's turning out to be very different from what you had in mind. The restrictions put in place because of the coronavirus are being lifted, and in some cases put back in place because the pandemic isn't over yet. On top of that, according to Dr. Micheal Burry, one of the biggest investors, said that we're now in a recession. Sorry to bring you more bad news, but the recession is just starting. Let's try to stay positive though, because in today's video, we hope to give you some practical survival skills to get through these tough times and even thrive, so that we can come out even stronger than before in our careers, our finances, and in ourselves. You're missing out if you haven't subscribed to our channel yet, so let's find out how. With first on the list of 15 ways to get ready for hard times is to cut your spending. The first step is to spend wisely, which means to keep track of how much you spend. Make a list of things you don't need to buy. If you have subscriptions you don't use, get rid of them. If you use them but don't need them, cancel them. Think about it carefully. Joining a gym if you've been on lockdown for a while, you may have learned how well you can work out at home and can think about getting rid of that one-two-wheeler. You still need to treat yourself sometimes, but if you're suddenly able to do so now that lockdown is over, don't go crazy. 2. Budgeting. Keep an eye on your spending and don't go overboard. Make a budget and stick to it. If you don't know what you're spending your money on, you're probably wasting a lot of it, so keep track of how much you're spending. Set goals for yourself and do your best to meet them. Usually a 50/30/20 split is recommended, which means that 50% of your money should go toward necessities like rent or mortgage, phone, internet, groceries, healthcare costs, and insurance. You see what I mean? 30% on wants like entertainment, hobbies, trips, and vacations. The rest, which is 20%, will be on savings and investments. If you can, switch the second and third numbers and make it 20% for wants and raise the figure for savings and investments to 30% or even higher if you can. You'll want to put these into an emergency fund, which brings us to 3. Set up an emergency fund. Even when the economy is good, it's important to have cash on hand for emergencies. In a recession, this is even more important because you never know when disaster will strike. If you lose your job or your work dries up, you should have enough money in the bank to last you at least 3 months, and 6 is even better. If you make a budget, you'll know how much money you need to meet your basic needs. Calculate how much you'll need for these 3 months and keep saving until you have it. As we said, if you can keep saving until you have enough for 6 months, that's even better. Once you have between 3 and 6 months of emergency funds, you can start putting the rest into investments that will help you do well after the recession is over. We'll talk about that next. 4. Pay off your debt. Pay off your debts if you can. If you have debts and can get rid of them now, you should. In a few months, you might not have enough money to make the minimum payments, and falling behind on them could lead to problems that get worse over time, like more debt and a bad credit score. So pay off your debts now, and you'll be glad you did. If you have more than one debt, list them in order of their interest rates, and pay off the ones with the highest rates first. If you have a credit card, you should probably pay it off first because the interest rates are so high. Once you've paid off your debt, don't take on any more unless it's absolutely necessary. 5. If you can't pay off your debt, look into debt relief. Some lenders offer options like debt deferment or forbearance. Call your bank or lender to find out what options are available, but see this as a short-term solution. The best thing to do is get rid of your debt, but if that's not possible, at least look into your other options. 6. Set up a high-interest account. This is where you'll keep your emergency fund. It won't make you the most money, but when times are tough, every little bit helps. The interest rate on regular bank accounts is close to 0, so look around for a high-interest savings account. The interest won't be great, but at least there will be some, and maybe even more important, keeping your emergency bonds in a separate bank account will help you resist the urge to use it for other things. 7. Prove how valuable you are in your workplace. If you still have a job, show how valuable you are by taking on projects, learning new skills and using them, and going the extra mile. When jobs are cut, you'll be in a better position to keep yours, and if you're unlucky, at least you'll have something to fall back on. 8. Start a side business during a bad economy. The benefits of doing this are twofold. First, you'll make a little extra money on top of your regular job, and second, if your regular job is affected, you'll have a backup plan. The good news is that it's never been easier to start a side hustle. Ideally, you want to find something you're passionate about or good at. Something you used to do as a hobby could work, but now you'll do it as a freelancer. Just start searching, and you might be surprised by what you find. 9. Get new skill sets. We've talked about how to make yourself more valuable at work. Getting new work-related skills and qualifications is a great way to do this. For example, improving your Excel skills, photo/video editing skills, programming skills, or whatever is relevant to your line of work is a great way to do this. We've also talked about how to start a side business. It's never been easier to improve your skills. This will also help you in the long run because you'll always have these skills. 10. Start making connections. Like the last 2 points, this is a good way to use your time if you've been laid off or had your hours cut, but it's also a great thing to do if you haven't. If you want to move to a different line of work, talk to people in that field about how to get in. If you want to work for a different company, talk to people who already work there. If you want to start a side business, talk to freelancers who've done it before to see what they did right. 11. Keep your CV up to date. If you follow the advice on this list, you'll learn new skills and take on new challenges. Make sure to write them all down on your CV and keep it up to date. In this fast-paced world where you're always looking for new opportunities, chances can come up at any time. Be ready to take advantage of them by sending your updated CV quickly and keeping your LinkedIn profile up to date. 12. Think about changing your living situation. If you're in a tight spot with money, there are a few things you can do here. If you rent, you could move to a cheaper place, and if you own your home or if your lease lets you could get a roommate. If you own your home, you could remortgage it or get a home equity loan, but only if you have to. Talk to an expert with a good reputation first, because the worst-case scenario is that you could lose your home. 13. Keep on investing. If you usually put money into long-term investments, you might be hesitant right now. It's natural to think that investing is the last thing you should do during a recession. You might be thinking, isn't the stock market going to keep falling? Shouldn't I stop investing until stocks hit rock bottom and then buy? The advice from experts is simple. Don't stop investing until stocks hit rock bottom. Keep investing as usual. History shows that every recession has been followed by a long-term upswing. The stock market recovers 2 levels higher than it was before the recession, and it rewards people who kept investing. For example, during the Great Depression of 2008, people who started investing $50 a month in an S&P 500 fund 2 years before stocks hit an all-time low would have made a total of $12,000 by March 2018. 14. Diversify your investments. Unless you're an expert investor, you're not going to want to bet huge amounts of money on one stock. There's a saying, don't put all your eggs in one basket. This is especially true when it comes to the stock market for people who don't have professional investing skills. Place most of your investments into portfolios of stocks like index tracker funds, rather than individual stocks. This is true all of the time, but even more so in recessions when the stock market is especially volatile. 15. Take a long-term approach to investing. If you want to increase your long-term wealth as an investor, you should be playing the long-term game. Maybe one of your stocks lost 20% in a week, or maybe the whole stock market took a nosedive and hurt your index fund badly. But the history of the stock market tells us it will all come back. Don't check your stock's performance every day unless you're doing risky short-term trades, which we don't recommend. And there you have it. Make sure to like and subscribe so you never miss a video that we will soon upload. We also picked out these videos for you to watch next. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you tomorrow.